credit ratings and pawnbrokers and payday loans and other things that deal with financial institution stuff simply because he has that historical knowledge. So do your homework in advance and find out what members address your issues, are on the committees which interest you, and make appointments to meet with their staff if you're going to be in Austin during the interim. Session lobbying is a little different. As I said, session starts the second Tuesday of every odd-numbered year. Filing starts a month after the general election, which means that we can start filing legislation December 3rd or 4th, depending on whether that falls on a Sunday or a Monday. Freshmen are allowed to pre-file even. So if you have a brand new state representative in your district, Judith mentioned a couple of members she'd like to get rid of on the Ag Committee. One of them has a challenger. If that individual lost his election and you had a new state representative in that district, that doesn't necessarily mean he would serve on the Ag Committee. He could certainly request to serve on the Ag Committee. If his district has a large Ag contingency, then the Speaker probably would consider appointing it to him. And you could go to him early and he could file something before he's ever sworn into office. These are kind of the technical tricks of the trade that are useful to know. The process. A bill I love, I'm immediately going to show my age. I have 15-month-old twins, and even though they can barely speak, I went out and bought them the video Schoolhouse Rock. I love the little video of I'm Just a Bill, and I use it a lot when I talk to people about legislation. You have a member who files a bill, and what that means is he walks into our chief clerk and says, I want to author this, and he gives it to them and they stamp a number on it. And bills receive numbers in the numerical order in which they're filed, first come, first served. And then that gets put up on the website, and everybody can see Representative so-and-so has filed a bill on raw milk. They can do that up until, I think it's the 60th day of session, so they have 90 days to file legislation. After that period, they can't file any more legislation. So if you come to us the last month of session and say, hey, I think raw milk's a really important issue and I'd like to see you file a bill on that, we can look at you and say, I'm sorry, you have to wait another year and a half till the next session rolls around. So it's important to know what our deadlines are so that you know when to get in and do your ask. What kind of legislation do you want to help you? You need to know what our deadlines are. After session starts, the Speaker gets sworn in and he appoints committees. My boss frequently refers to this as the first day of school. Members show up for session. They come in from all over the state. Frequently, many of them get apartments here. They have roommates with other legislators. So you show up for your first day of college, you get your roommate assignment, you move in with your gear, you go to class, and you get your class assignments. Speaker hands out committee assignments. So you find out who your new teachers are, in other words, who your new committee chairmen are, who your new classmates are, who are the new members on the committees that you've been serving on, or for my boss this session, he got all brand new committee assignments which he's never served on before, and all of a sudden we had a lot of homework because we were studying topics that my boss had never had before. And as a staff, we had a very quick learning curve. Once committees are assigned, the Speaker starts referring those bills that have been building up since December to committees. Once committees have enough bills referred to them, they'll start having public hearings. And once they have a public hearing on a bill, usually they'll have a public hearing on a bill, and then the next week they'll have another hearing and kick the bills out from the week before. They'll vote them out and send them to what is referred to as the Calendars Committee. The Calendars Committee decides whether or not to move a bill forward to the House floor for full debate. On the floor, sometimes it's the very first time a lot of members get to see a bill. And so they like to do floor amendments because they've never seen the bill, they want to do it how they want it, how their constituents want it, etc. Once it passes that process, it goes over to the Senate and does the whole process all over again. Lieutenant Governor gets to refer to his committees, his Senate committees get to have hearings, and they get to go to the Senate floor. And after all of that, it goes to the governor. At each step of the process, you're going to talk to new people. You'll also be telling them the same thing. So we go back to our all-important white paper. If you are coming during session, I suggest you bring a white paper, again, 1 page, but preferably not white. You wouldn't believe how many stacks and reams of paper that comes through my office. I kill so many trees every session, it's ridiculous. And it's all white. If I file something and all of a sudden I'm looking for that, where's that piece of paper that I know somebody came and talked to me about that bill, oh my God, I need to lay my hands on it. I remember it in my head, it was orange. It's really quick and easy to find in the filing cabinet. Again, the name of your issue, the bill number, and the name of the author. But don't wait to go talk to your representatives if you don't have this yet. Make a new one when you have it. Make a new white paper when you get that bill number. Go ahead and go see them and tell them, we don't have a bill filed yet, we don't have, or put on there, if you know what representative is going to file the bill but you don't have a bill number, put the representative's name on there and say, he hasn't filed the bill yet, but we'll come back and tell you what the bill number is. I prefer to get white papers after I have a bill number because then I know exactly where to file it. But we also have a file for white papers that we get that don't have a bill number yet, and if somebody comes back to us and says, we gave you a white paper before, we now have a bill number, we'll go back through that filing cabinet, find that white paper and staple it to the one with the bill number on it, and then properly file it into our systems. A paragraph on the issue and your talking points. Now remember, as Judith said, the majority of representatives don't come from agricultural districts. My boss, as I said, comes from Carrollton and Louisville, which is a bedroom community north of Dallas. I tease him that he is the representative of strip malls and nail salons. He has 2 manufacturers in his district and a lot of subdivisions. The major issues for him are transportation, because we have commuters who drive into Fort Worth, Arlington, and Dallas for their jobs. There isn't a cow in sight in his district. But if you drive 40 miles north, you get to a very rural part of Denton County. And so, as a state representative, you can look at him and say, this is important to your county. It may not be important to his district, but it's important to his county. And when it comes to politics, it takes a certain type of personality to run for office. Number one, it takes a certain kind of person to say, you know what, I can do that job better than those people. I can represent 170,000 of my neighbors well. Excuse me, 170,000 for a representative. A state senator represents 5 times that. So it takes a certain bravado to run for office. It takes a certain amount of confidence and thick skin to go through an election and have people dig up all kinds of crazy things about you. I've had representatives who have had their children followed with videotapes. So the reason why I tell you this is because almost every state representative believes they could be a state senator. Almost every state senator believes they could be a U.S. congressman. Almost every U.S. congressman believes they could be a U.S. senator, and everyone believes they could be president. So their areas of interest are larger than their district. My boss might be interested in what helps his county, number one, because he's interested in what helps his county, but number two, if he ever wants to run for state senator, oh my gosh, there are rural areas in that state senate district. So you have to find what the angle is for that representative if they don't have agricultural interest in their district in particular. For the members of Houston, you have to talk about food production. You have to talk about all the things that Judith talks to me about on a regular basis whenever she comes in and gets up on her soapbox, about links to Parkinson's disease and, you know, the chemicals and pesticides which are put in our food. If you have a representative in your district who is not on the Ag Committee, who comes from Houston, but happens to be chair of the Public Health Committee, that's a great angle. So you have to kind of figure out what it is that speaks to that representative. Make an appointment before you go and talk to somebody during session. Like I said, session's 140 days, and I work 15 hours a day, 6 days a week during session. The amount of work I have to do doesn't take me 15 hours, but from 8 a.m. to about 9 p.m.